Welcome to another edition of 5 Minutes with Joe. This is the tomato edition. We're going to be talking today about tomatoes. We're going to be talking about Hispanic Heritage Month, and we're going to make a Chipotle chicken that's on the Hispanic Heritage Month calendar. So let's take a look first and see my bountiful tomatoes, what I've got here. Back here I've got some nice tomatoes. They're nice there. Down below here, if you can get in there and see them, we got aromas that are going, and there's not a ripe tomato to be seen anywhere. So I'm still got a little bit of a ways to go here, but I'm hoping that we got about another month before our first frost here in Minnesota, so we're hoping we're going to get some nice ripe tomatoes before then. Tomatoes come from the same family as potatoes and the ever lovely deadly nightshade. And it just so happens I'm such a fabulous gardener that I happen to have a little bit of each here to show you. Let's take a look. Here we have, this is the tomato, you can see the tomatoes on there, and right next to it here you can see this is the potato plant, and the potato actually has on here has some fruit that looks like tomatoes but is a far cry from it. So the potato plant looks very, very similar to its cousin the tomato. And of course this lovely thing here with these really nice, if you can see them, the really nice little flowers on them that look just like tomato flowers, is of course deadly nightshade. I don't know if it's really deadly, but I haven't really given it a chance, and I don't think I'll give it a try either. I think it has nice little purple berries on it. So all three of those are very closely related and come from the same family. Tomatoes come to us by a rather circuitous route. Tomatoes are actually native to western South America. And when the Spaniards got there, they saw these tomatoes and they took them back to Europe. But what was interesting was they brought the tomatoes back and they only planted and grew them as decorative bushes. They didn't actually eat them because they thought, like the deadly nightshade, that tomatoes were poisonous. Well, somebody, we don't know who, but somebody took a bite out of one, and the rest is history. Because the Italians took to them and the Spaniards took to them. And the way we got tomatoes is when the European immigrants came back to the United States, then they brought the tomatoes with them. And that's how we have tomatoes here. These tomatoes, I've gathered a few for you to look at. These are interesting because these are Minnesota tomatoes. They're called Bushel Boy. And these, like a lot of tomatoes we have now, are grown in hothouses. Greenhouse tomatoes are all over the place. Even in Mexico and Arizona, they have built huge greenhouses so they can keep the air temperature the same, and they can grow a lot more tomatoes that way. And you can tell, like, these tomatoes have no bruises or anything on them, so they're kind of like we talked about the peppers, as opposed to regular tomatoes, which have some blemishes on them because they're outside and they get bounced around. We've got some nice heirlooms here that we got at the store, and as part of my CSA, I've got some of these really nice speckled ones, and some green ones and purple ones and all sorts of little guys. The yellow ones are very, very nice. The tomato we use most often for cooking and so forth is the Roma, and this is the Roma, and I'm hoping to have some here in my garden before the time's up. And I'm going to show you a quick way to how to cut up a Roma tomato. I have this nice knife here that Greg Mueller from South Carolina made for me. If you'd like one, you may want to talk to him, but it's a beauty. So the best way to get tomatoes cut, diced, is you cut them in quarters, like so. And then what we're going to do is we take the fleshy part out. We just run the knife down bottom here and cut right through the stem and get most of that fleshy part out. A long time ago, when I first started in the business, we would actually dice the whole tomatoes up and not take the middle out at all, but we dice them all up whole and then put them in a fryer basket and shake it lightly, and all the seeds and the juice goes down the bottom, and what's left is just the tomato. So it's kind of a neat little trick I learned. When you're cutting up tomatoes, you have two choices, and one of them is the wrong one, and it's easier always to cut through the fleshy side. Same thing is true with peppers. You just cut them nice like so, and this knife is a very nice knife. Turn them around, and you're going to get nice quarter-inch dice that we're going to use in the pico de gallo you're going to see later. So there you have nice diced tomato. Now, traditionally, in the French, they will take these and they'll put them in a water and actually peel them and so forth. But we don't want that. We want that nice shiny skin on there because it really stands out, makes them nice and bright, it makes our pico de gallo look very, very nice. So next month is Hispanic Heritage Month, and one of the featured recipes at the Marine Corps bases is Chipotle chicken with pico de gallo. So we're going to head on inside right now, and we're going to make that Chipotle chicken. So let's go. So, as promised, we're going to make a little chipotle chicken dish here with gallo pinto and pico de gallo. And here's the chicken breast that we've marinated. We've taken the marinade off of here and we dried it very well. It's important that your chicken be well dried so you get those nice markings. Otherwise, if it's wet, all the heat we'll be doing is making steam. So we want to get those nice char marks on here. So we take this and we're going to lay it on there. We like to hear that sizzle. That lets us know that it's actually doing what we want it to do. So we're going to do probably about a minute each way. You could do this in, mark these and put them in a 2-inch hotel pan and finish them up when you get an order. Nice easy way to do it. But the markings make such a big difference in the quality of the presentation. It makes it look really, really nice. This is a dish for the Hispanic Heritage Month. And Hispanic Heritage Month is going to run from the middle of September to the middle of October. The Mexicans celebrate September 16th as Mexican Independence Day, not Cinco de Mayo as many people think. Guatemala, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica all celebrate on September 15th. They also have a big celebration on when we have Columbus Day, but they don't call it Columbus Day. That's October 12th. They call it Dia de la Raza, and that celebrates the different races that are involved in Hispanic countries. So this thing's coming along nicely. You can see the beautiful markings on here. Let me hold it up a little bit so you can see it. And we're going to go the other way just to get those nice crosshatch marks. But I have here already prepared a piece, so just to speed things up a little bit, I'm going to take these gallo pinto, which is a traditional Costa Rican dish. Basically, it's just white rice, black beans, and a little bit of cilantro. And you'll see it everywhere. They have it for breakfast, all the time you'll see it. I have a piece of chicken that's already marked. I'm just going to lay it on there like so. And then I'm going to put that down here. And here we have our beautiful pico de gallo. Pico de gallo, of course, is just the tomatoes, some red onion, a little cilantro, and some jalapeno that I got out of my backyard. So we're just going to ladle some of this on here. And it makes a beautiful presentation. And you can be messy with it too, but that's the guy. So there you have it. There's a beautiful chipotle chicken with gallo pinto and pico de gallo. Interestingly enough, the gallo pinto means speckled rooster, and the pico de gallo means the rooster's beak. And the reason it's the rooster's beak is because it's a little bit sharp from the jalapeno. So I know you're going to enjoy it. So let's head back outside for a sec. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining us for another 5 Minutes with Joe. We'll see you next time.